So I used to watch this, and I'm talking years ago, and I'm talking probably 2 decades. Wait, what's this? 2020? Yeah, probably 2 decades or more ago. I used to watch this porn series, and I didn't even watch it. It was just like what was the the like the whatever web page I was using at the time, when I went to go like watch porn, and it was called Big Sausage Pizza. And the problem with Big Sausage Pizza was they always got like really hot porn stars, but the whole premise behind the thing was that this guy comes to the door with a pizza, and the girl would, I mean, in that like super 90s 80s 90s porn thing, be like, did you, I ordered it with extra sausage, does it have the, and then she would like invite him in to her house or whatever, and have him sit on the couch with the pizza box on top of him on his lap, and then she would open the pizza box and his dick would be through the pizza, and then she'd start blowing him like through the like, and all I could think of, it didn't do anything for me, because all I could think of is like, that girl's nose is going right up against pizza, like, and he's got a pizza box and he's holding it open against his chest, and just, it took me completely out of the moment, because I was like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, who would do that? That's, I can totally see a thing of, being a pizza delivery guy, and maybe like you deliver to the same girl over and over again, and eventually she wants to bang you or something crazy like that. But the idea that any woman in the world would be like, oh, you put your dick through the pizza, and now I just have to have your dick. I've lost all my hunger for pizza. Now I just have to have your dick. That was just like, it's something that just, it really burned, it really chapped my ass, if I may. Um, that would ever be a thing. It doesn't even make sense. It just, I mean, who does that? Nobody fucking does that. That's a thing that has never happened before in history. I totally believe, and I've seen like, and I don't even know how much I believe them. I've seen a few things where it's like, some fucking husband and wife have some weird ass thing where they're like, we're gonna order a pizza and you're gonna answer the door naked. All right, that makes sense. All right, and then there's a couple that go like a few extra steps of like, you're gonna answer the door and invite the pizza guy in, and you're gonna blow him. But I've never ever seen anything where someone actually goes to it and wants a dick through the pizza. It's the same thing as like the dick in the box Justin Timberlake Lonely Island video, where he's got his dick in that's his gift to the girl. And then there's the old I remember hearing many times about the popcorn trick of putting your dick through the bottom of the popcorn. Like, first of all right, my girlfriend gets the big giant extra large popcorn. Like, she's gonna have to be digging for a while before she's gonna have to be digging in the popcorn for quite some time before she gets to my dick. And by the time that she got there, it would be like buttery and salty, and then what? That she can't even, you can't reach your hand in there. Maybe you can reach like a couple fingers in there, but then what? Like, why not just be like, hey, I want a hand job in the movie theater? Like, doesn't that make more sense? Then you don't have to get your dick all buttery and salty and gross, and there's going to be popcorn kernels and stuff on your dick. I'm telling you, guys come up with some really strange stuff for why they, I'm glad it seems like porn has basically gotten away from the whole let's do this like a movie type of thing, because none of them really ever made sense. Like, one of the first DVDs that I got, because that was how I used to have to watch, like, because when I was like in my late teens, early teens, mid teens, when I first, started looking at porn, I looked at pictures. That was how I had to do it. It was all pictures, like the early days of the internet for me anyways. I don't know about other people in the late 90s, early 2000s. For me, it was all pictures. You just have to look at still photographs. But so the first DVD that I got was Kelly the Co-ed, and she like goes home for, I don't know if it's spring break. It can't be spring break. I mean, nobody goes home for spring break, right? They go to fucking Florida or something. But she like goes to her boyfriend's house for some sort of break from college, and it's her and her boyfriend, and she's like, well, I don't know. Do you think your dad's gonna like me? And the boyfriend's like, yeah, of course he'll like you. And then she goes up into the bedroom with her boyfriend's father, and the two of them end up fucking around. And then the boyfriend walks in and catches them, and then the boyfriend and the father start banging the girl. Like, another one that I just can't imagine. Like, to me, that sounds so fucking nasty to be like, because you got to put yourself in that situation, right? That's an old Bill Burr joke. Like, anytime that I've ever watched anything, I have to be able to put myself in that scenario, right? I can mentally put myself in that scenario of what's going on in there, and be, that's why, like, Bill Burr's joke is like, if it's two guys fucking around, I can't put myself in that scenario. I can't put myself in there because I'm a straight male, so I can't put myself in that scenario. But if it's two guys and a girl, I can be like, yeah, okay, yep, that could, one of those guys could be me. A guy and a girl, that could be me. A group of guys and a group of girls, then yeah, I could be one of those guys. But in the scenario where it's a guy and his dad banging his girlfriend, or any version of that. I've listened to too much true crime, though, also, because I've also heard of plenty of true crime where it's like a father and son go to a brothel and meet some girl together. Like, putting myself in there, I think I have to think, I'm forced to think of my own father. And that is something that I have never desired, never wanted. I can't even, and then I think about yeah, of course there's plenty of, guys like me. Like, I'll be 40 later this year. So it's not insane to think that there's a 40-year-old guy out there with a 20-year-old son who could be like, they both are attractive men or something like that. But still, you have to, see your dad's dick. And your dad's probably saw your dick, but, if you're lucky, you haven't really had to see your dad's dick. Certainly not up close, and certainly not in that form of scenario. But anyways, that was just a thought that I had earlier this week about big sausage pizza, which I was thinking about it, and I texted Ro about it, saying, big sausage pizza, like, the whole scenario doesn't even make sense to me, that a girl would ever be like, thank you for putting your dick through my pizza, and now I just have to. I mean, it would make more sense if it was like, thank you for bringing my pizza, now let me fuck you. It doesn't make any sense to be like, I want to suck your dick that is through my pizza, and you'd have to smell pizza the whole time, which would really just make me want to have pizza. But that's just me. Let me hit this. And sorry for the delay here. And this is Adulting with Donnie. What's going on, party people? Happy Monday. It's a Monday afternoon, which is going just fine for me. Wow, I'm looking out my window right now. There's like these two people on sort of mopeds. It looks like they're on mopeds. I haven't seen a moped since like the 80s. Who remembers the moped? There's probably plenty of you that don't even know what a moped is. A moped was it looks kind of like a motorcycle. It's got a motor on it, and I think it has a twist throttle on it. But you also have to, like, you don't have to, but you can also pedal it. I've never ridden one ever, but I do remember my parents both talking to me about them because they had a couple of them. And I remember them saying, like, pedaling a moped is not like pedaling a bicycle. Like, pedaling a moped is very difficult. It's like having a mountain bike set to its highest gear level, and just trying to, pedal up a hill. I guess that's the best way to put it. But my mother actually won 2 of them from a radio station. I don't know the story behind that. I just, all she ever told me was that she won 2 of them. I don't know if that was something like she, was part of a contest, or if she just happened to call in at the right time, or what was up with that. But she won 2 of them. and then they immediately sold them, which is my train of thought too. If I win something from a radio station, chances are better that I'm going to sell it more than I'm going to use it. You know, radio stations haven't given away anything really awesome in recent history. But like if I were to win something like a fucking jet ski, chances are really good that I'm going to just sell that. Or if I enter into some sort of like, if I entered into some sort of like raffle and won something in some way or another, I'm coming out on top with this, right? Obviously, I've already come out on top because I won, but like if I won like a motorcycle, like a new motorcycle, then I'm going to sell my current motorcycle, right? So I'm coming out with money too. That's if that were the thing. Anyways, it's Monday, and we've had a really great day because Ro decided to take today off, and today is my regular day off from the post office. So we ended up with 2 days off together. Had yesterday off. She cooked an amazing turkey dinner. I think it was about a week. So last weekend was Easter Sunday, and I don't remember. So like last Sunday she makes like a ham dinner, and then this Sunday or last Sunday she said next weekend I think I want to make a turkey dinner. Which is crazy the way that the price of turkey goes up and down depending on the time of year, right? November, December, if you want, this size turkey that we got, I think it was about 18 pounds. If you want to get something like that in November, December, it's going to cost, probably $60 or $70 to get a turkey that size. And then she buys one the other day and it's $15 or $16. Like it's like the way that the price fluctuates on that. And same thing with corned beef. Like she wanted to do corned beef for St. Patrick's Day. Corned beef, the price of that goes way up just because, everybody wants it at a certain time. It's also unfortunate that that's not the type of thing that you can get and then just hold on to. You can buy it cheap now and then sell it for more later. But yeah, she made an awesome turkey dinner yesterday. And I watched the first Harry Potter movie. Not my favorite of the Harry Potter movies. I have a preference to like 4 through 8. Those are my go-tos if I'm going to watch Harry Potter, mostly because the kids are a little bit older, so it's a little bit less of a juvenile movie, but she was like, I've been watching Game of Thrones again. I watched it a few years ago. I watched it back in 2017 or 18, something like that. I watched Game of Thrones way back then, but the show wasn't over yet, so I only watched what was available so far. I think I watched the first 6 seasons, and at the end of the 6 seasons, there's nothing more available, so I was like, yeah, whatever, and I just didn't have much interest in watching more of it, so I never finished watching it. So I was looking for something to watch the other night, decided I'm going to start Game of Thrones again. So I started watching it. It's certainly better this time around than it was the first time I watched it. Like I'm watching it again and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize whatever, There's certain things that I'm picking up on this time around. And Ro loves Game of Thrones. She's a big time mother of dragons. She loves dragons just in general. So I think she loved dragons before Game of Thrones was all, before Game of Thrones turned a bunch of fucking nerdy girls even more nerdy. It bothered the shit out of me. There used to be some girl on one of the Facebook pages that I followed. It's a page that I no longer follow because it was really just an outlet for the admins to act stupid. But it was a page called like Girls with Guns. I think it was called Girls with Guns. No. I'm sorry. It was called Girls for Gunslingers. And the page started out with like just posting like what you would expect to see. Girls in bikinis holding guns or something like that, girls that are actual models doing photo shoots that happen to also include guns, like that type of thing is what it initially started out as, and then it transformed into like 3 admin girls that really just used the page as an outlet to get likes and comments from guys, and and one of the girls on there, she like changed her Facebook name to be Danny Stormborn. And it wasn't until I started, and I happened to start watching Game of Thrones right around the same time that that I was following this page. And when I put the two and two together, I was like, okay, you look nothing like that girl. You're not even remotely close. You're just a fangirl of the show who wants to look like that girl, and that's great that you want to, but you don't. So why are you pretending? And why would you change your Facebook name to be that? Like, and I think I ended up calling out one of these girls on there one day, and then I got kicked off the page, and it didn't hurt my feelings at all. I got kicked off one of the girls posted something like, it was her in like a cowboy hat, and she was like, my boyfriend cheated on me, and so guess who's single again, or something like that. And there was just a bunch of thirsty ass white knights that were like, oh my god, I can't believe you would do that to you, you're beautiful. And it's like all these comments like this that basically she got what she wanted, except from me. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's probably good that he cheated on you, because you know, you just post pictures of yourself on a page followed by thousands of people looking for thirsty ass comments all the time. I can't believe it took him this long. So yeah, that's me watching Game of Thrones now. A little ankle update. I had a little setback last week. And unfortunately, I think it means I'm probably going to end up having to take this week off from the gym. Not from work, but just the gym. And I guess technically from work too, because I can't do that little neighborhood that I do. I can't remember if I talked about it on this show or not, but 2 weeks ago I went to the doctor. He said that I was okay to start doing this little neighborhood again where I go up and down stairs for 45 minutes. So I you know, he gave me the all clear to do that 2 weeks ago, and I've only done it 2 or 3 times in that 2 weeks, because almost every night I end up with some different extra at work, some different type of overtime that meant I couldn't do that. So I did it on Wednesday. This past Wednesday, I did that and something else and a different extra. And Wednesday night going to bed, I was like, man, something's wrong. Something doesn't feel right. My ankle's killing me. And I don't know if I woke up Ro at all, or how much I may have woken her up that particular night. But I know that every time that I rolled over in bed, I woke myself up because the pain in my ankle just shot right up. So then Thursday morning I go to work, and I had a wicked limp going into work, and they gave me extra again, which is fine because I'm on the overtime list to do that. But still, all day Thursday I was just in so much pain, and I stopped a few times to come home and put ice on my ankle. And it just wasn't helping at all. Usually if I can take 20 or 30 or 40 minutes to ice my ankle, it starts to feel a lot better. And nothing was helping on Thursday. And then on Friday morning, I guess going to bed on Thursday night, I texted Ro while she was in the shower and said, you know, if this doesn't feel better in the morning, I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm going to call the doctor. And I got up Friday morning, and I felt okay getting up a little bit. And then I was like, I'm going to take it was a nice day here in New Hampshire on Friday. So I was like, I'm going to take the motorcycle to work. So I got on the motorcycle. I got less than half a mile away from home, and I was like, I'm not finishing work today. I'm only going in for about 4 hours. Because I'm going to call the doctor because something's wrong. Something doesn't feel right. So I went to work. I walked in immediately. I was like, you've got me for about 4 hours, and then I'm done. I can't, something's wrong. I got to go home. I got to fucking put this thing up and relax it and put some ice on it for a while. It was swollen too. Like the swelling was back. So I was able to get a doctor's appointment Friday afternoon. Went to the doctor. He sends me to the hospital to get a goddamn ultrasound, which I can't tell you how much I hate the hospital. Like, I am Convenient MD for life, all right? The hospital fucking sucks. Going to the hospital is just the worst. I'll never, if I get into a car accident and there's an ambulance or something involved, I'm going to be like, nope, fuck you. I'll drag myself to Convenient MD or something. Going to the emergency room, going to the hospital for any reason just sucks. Like, they are not an efficiently run program at all. I finished up my doctor's appointment was at 2:20. They ended up taking me a couple minutes early on Friday, and I was in and out of there in 20 minutes. And I'm only 20 minutes away from the hospital, right? So we're talking. I was at the hospital by like 3:00, and they had sent all the paperwork ahead of time. So it's not even like I have to go to registration and just be like, "Hey, I'm here," but they sent everything ahead of time. So I get there, I end up sitting in a waiting room until 4:00 for my ultrasound, and the ultrasound only takes like 5 minutes maybe. They do the ultrasound, then I also have to get a blood test done, because the whole thing is they want to make sure that there's not any clotting going on in my leg that's causing all this pain, which honestly it probably was not. The pain was probably coming from these people on the mopeds are just driving around in circles around the neighborhood. The pain in my ankle is probably ultimately just coming from overuse, going up and down stairs. And the doctor had said, like, okay, no more stairs, we got to take you back off of that for the next few weeks. So no stairs for a few weeks. But I go to the fucking hospital. I'm in the ultrasound waiting room for almost an hour. They do the ultrasound. Then I got to go get blood work done. And there's even a sign on the door for blood work that's like, if you've been waiting for more than 15 minutes, let someone at the window know. But the window is closed. The blinds are drawn on it. Nobody's there. And there was 2 or 3 people ahead of me. So I end up sitting there for another 45 or 50 minutes. Thank goodness for smartphones and YouTube Reels, or not YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels. Those things have fucking got me, man. I can probably spend at least 40 minutes scrolling through YouTube and I keep saying YouTube, Facebook and Instagram Reels. So finally get my blood work done, and I'm done at 5:00 and going home. But still, my appointment was in Dover, 20 minutes from home at 2:15 probably. And so I left the house at like 1:30 because I wanted to get a coffee on the way. So we're talking 3.5 hours, a little over 3.5 hours I was away for an appointment that really should have taken like 15, maybe 20 minutes, but whatever. I went home, got home Friday night, put ice on it all night, the rest of the night, right up until about 11:30, and then went back to work Saturday morning, and just took it easy for the day on Saturday. Told my bosses I can't do those stairs anymore, so they're figuring out other ways to get me some overtime every day, and then I ended up having Sunday and Sunday, Monday off, which is great. Like I said earlier, we took our little. She did a turkey dinner, and we watched Harry Potter. She had to engrave a new softball bat that she's very excited about. So she engraved her new bat, and then I don't want to spoil it yet. All right, I'm not gonna spoil anything about it yet. But we have big news. Ro and I have big news coming on May 7th. We're not getting married, and there's not a baby coming, so fucking knock that shit off. But we have big news. I would argue it's even bigger than being married or having a baby on the way. Honestly, I would go so far as to say that. May 7th. Mark your calendars. May 7th. Big news. Keep an eye on your Facebook, Instagram profiles on the night of May 7th, and maybe even make sure you tune in. I would love to just have a consistent podcast that I do with Ro. It would be fun to just because some of the shit that we say to each other, so often. I actually wonder often. What it would take to get a reality show, just because the shit that we say, the shit that comes out of our mouths sometimes, I forget where we were. We were out somewhere, and afterwards we left, and she said something about hearing someone fart, and And I had said I thought that was you, and I just didn't say anything. And she said, and we both start laughing about it. And she thought, God, I'm trying to remember how it all went here. We both started laughing, and she was like, "Why would I do that? Like, why would I just do that in a public setting like that? Why would you think that was me?" And my response was, "Well, I don't know. You're getting older. I don't know how much control you have over that kind of thing." And I was driving at the time, and I could barely fucking drive because I was crying laughing about it. And she was like, "How Not to Get Laid," a book by Donnie Gates. And I was just crying laughing about that whole thing. And that's just what, like, that's just like a small example out of many examples of times when one of us will say something to the other that just has one of us just dying laughing. I forget what we were way early on in our relationship. We were watching Spencer Confidential, and there's a little boy in that movie who's just kind of like looking down at the ground. It's probably not as funny as I think it is, but still, I'm gonna say it anyways. There's like this little kid, like kind of looking up at the giant. I don't know his name. He's the guy that plays M'Baku in Black Panther. And he has a name that doesn't even remotely sound African at all. What's his name? M'Baku. Who's he played by? Who's he played by? Why is Google not the actor? Winston Duke is the name of this guy. That does not sound like a giant African American man. I know that a name shouldn't really, say that, but it does. And he is huge. Well, he's not even. They do a good job in Black Panther of making him look like a giant. He's 6'5". His nationality is Trinidadian. His parents' name, his let's see here. Let's see. All right. It just lists one parent, Cora Panton. Cora Panton at least sounds a little more like, because he was born in Trinidad. Isn't that in Africa? I think that's in Africa. I could be wrong. Look, I'm a dumb guy. I don't claim to have a whole lot of knowledge about a whole lot of things. Winston Duke just does not. That sounds way more American than the guy that was born in Trinidad. I wouldn't be too surprised if let's see if his Wikipedia says anything about, how he was actually born. I mean, his name. Yeah, it looks like he was actually born as Winston Duke. Duke was born in Argyle, St. Paul, Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago. Moved to the U.S. with his mother, Cora, sister, when he was 9 years old. Graduated in New York. Attended the University of Buffalo. He's great. I love him. Yeah, he was in that movie. But anyways, I was talking about Spencer Confidential. But anyways, this little kid is talking to him in that movie. I almost lost my train of thought. And he says, I said to Ro about this little kid. I was like, I love little autistic kids. And and in all seriousness, she goes, I do too, because she just immediately thought that I was being serious. He's a little autistic kid, and he's not. And I just started dying laughing at the idea that was all I had to say. And she took it at face value that he did. I was actually today, 2 years into our relationship, I think that she would be like, he's not, dummy. What are you talking about? He's not. He's just a kid who's probably staring at a giant and doesn't want to look at him in the eyes. I'm sure she was just being very kind to me way back then. So anyways, yeah, that was one of our things the other night was me saying, I don't know, you're getting older, which I agree, not exactly the way that you should talk to your woman, but it seemed appropriate at the time. I had a couple things that I wanted to talk about. and I feel like I have to give, I feel like I have to give a disclaimer before I talk about these things. And that disclaimer is that, firstly, Roe's not here. She's not even in the house as we speak. She had to run out for an errand. Roe does not. Sometimes I will say things like I'm about to without really talking to her first. She, I don't know how much she shares my opinion on some things, particularly these next two topics. I guess the first one that I would talk about is the Ukraine. All right, we haven't talked much about it. We see it on the news almost every fucking night for 2 or 3 months now. See something about the news, and my problem, I have a couple of problems. I don't ever have a problem with the Ukraine. I could give two shits. And you certainly didn't come here to listen to me talk about politics in the Ukraine. I have a couple problems though. First of all, there's been like civil war going on in Africa for fucking 2 decades or more. There's been genocides, and I mean, there's just been these insane things, and and flash over to another part of the world, Mexico, where the cartels are just fucking hanging people from a bridge. I'm about to get really worked up. All right, you go over to Mexico, the cartels are hanging people from a bridge, ripping people out of their homes, taking daughters. That shit's happening in the Congo. Look at places like Afghanistan, same things happening over there. I guess an argument could be made that, did we go to Iraq? But really, what was the purpose of going to Iraq? Was it more to do with oil and control, or was it because they were, because the leader was being awful to the country? You look at here's the difference, right? Here's what's blowing my mind is that you look at the Ukraine and Russia invading Ukraine, we are doing little to nothing. We're really, it doesn't even make any fucking sense to me. It blows my mind how many Americans. It really blows my mind. But you look back 5 or 6 years ago when Donald Trump was like, well, I think that Putin would be. He gets asked the question, who do you think is a great leader of the world? Who do you think? What leaders do you look up to right now? Because they asked this question at one of these panels of like presidential candidates back in 2015 or 16, and Donald Trump says Putin. And then you got a bunch of fucking dumb Republicans who are like, he's talking about him. And there was banners in 2016 like "Make the World Great Again" that showed Trump and Putin holding hands. And now all of a sudden you look at now, and the same dumb people who were like, fucking Donald Trump, I love Donald Trump, Putin. There's an obscene amount of dumb people like that are now going, Russia bad. And, I'm delivering the other day to the mall. I deliver mail at the mall that's right down the street from me. And they get this giant card. And I mean this giant card. This thing's like 7 or 8 feet tall. It unfolds to be about another, probably 8 feet wide or so. And this card is going around the state of New Hampshire. I'm sure it's been fucking delivered by now. But this is, we're probably talking 3 or 4 weeks ago that I saw this thing. This giant card was like making its way around the state where people could sign their, sign on the card their support of the Ukraine. What the fuck is the Ukraine going to do with that goddamn card? And I mean, who the fuck is going to see it? Like, we're sending a card? Really? That's what we're doing. I see it on the news every night. There's buildings blown out. There's bodies in the street. And I'm not even, you watch the news. There's bodies in the street. Okay? And buildings that are just blown out, giant holes in the ground from where mortars and missiles have crashed. Tanks just left burning on the street. These people are dying over there, and our response in New Hampshire is to send a card. Hey, thinking of you, get well soon. Love, New Hampshire. Like, what is that doing? What that doesn't. I mean, that I understand. I understand the. I understand the. I understand the idea that, like, America, if America were to actually send fucking troops in force to Ukraine to back Russia, then it's like an act of war, or to attack Russia, not to back Russia, to back the Ukraine against Russia. It's like an act of war, and it could domino effect into like, well, now China wants to attack America, and then Britain needs to attack China. Like, I understand there's all these sides to these domino effect things that it would be a real problem. What I don't understand is why I don't understand the fucking driving down the street with a flag for the Ukraine in goddamn Portsmouth, New Hampshire is not doing anything other than a little bit of virtue signaling. That's really what you're doing, is a whole lot of virtue signaling. That's what's going on the most, is the whole like, support the Ukraine. I support the Ukraine. Well, where's your support of the people that are getting pulled out of their goddamn house in Mexico? That's literally our neighbor. I don't care if I'm in New Hampshire, 3,000 miles away from the Mexican border. That is legit the neighbor. And we just watched that shit happen. The cartels are down there. They bring their war into Arizona, New Mexico, California, and it reaches all the, that infection spreads all the way up here to New Hampshire and Maine. You can trace back any sort of fentanyl, cocaine, crack. You can trace back all these drugs going all the way back to Mexico, Colombia. You can trace it all back there. And yet it's the ostrich syndrome is just bury your head in the sand. Let's fucking ignore this. We don't want to make waves in there. We don't want to make waves in Mexico. What's the problem? All right. Why are we so accepting that right across our border, they are buying off police. They are buying off the military. And, I'm certain that there are some good ones, but I've done plenty of article reading of some of the cartel stuff. I've listened to plenty of, podcasts, true crime podcasts about the people that go missing down there. I mean, it's insane. The people that go missing. You got tens of thousands of people that want to leave Mexico on a monthly basis. Why? Why do you think that is? Well, it's because it's so fucking violent there. And the cartels rule the entire country. And even if you go and you're like, I want to be a police officer in fucking Mexico, I want to clean this place up, I want to do things, they'll take your goddamn family. They'll find your family and they'll hold knives to their heads and be like, you're going to do what we want you to do. At the end of the day, there was that thing probably, I don't remember when it was 6 or 7 years ago, but they, the police arrested El Chapo's son and the cartel came and got him back. The cartel went to the police station, attacked the police station using goddamn missiles. Could you imagine if some of the gangs in America had that kind of firepower? I mean, this cartel is using missiles to get him back, and ultimately the police department was like, we don't want him. Never mind, take him back, have him. It's absolutely insane, the violence that goes on in other parts of the world, but America right now is doing this whole we stand with the Ukraine bullshit. And for what? Virtue signaling. That's all it is they're just standing by going, there's a whole lot of, politicians and this weird push in the media to, get other people to support the Ukraine by saying, I support how? What are you doing? Because you're not doing anything. It doesn't make any sense. I walked right by that card. I'm not signing that. It has nothing to do with whether or not I support, I definitely have every support of like, here's my border. There's your border. You stay on your side of the border and I'll stay on mine and we'll do all right. There won't be any problems. I don't understand. I know that one of Putin's, what he sees as a great failure in his eyes is Russia, the USSR falling and all that bullshit. And you don't really realize until you look at a map just how huge Russia is. Like, I don't know. I always kind of got this thought in my mind of like Russia is, the size of, maybe half of America or something like that. But Russia itself is like fucking, it's enormous compared to America. And why do you need more? He's just going on and he's capturing all these places, and for what? What's he going to do? I mean, there's a reason there's got to be a reason that he's attacking the Ukraine and not Canada. I don't. Let me pull up a. Excuse me. Map of the world. Yeah, I mean, Russia is massive. You look at a map of the world, all you have to do is Google it, and it's the first result. Russia, just looking at this map, has got to be 4, 5, maybe 6 times the size of America. It is enormous. I don't know if that equates. What's the population of Russia? Because I kind of doubt that translates. Population of Russia. I feel like there's a lot of wooded area. 144 million. So Russia itself, land mass wise, it's got to be 4 or 5 times the size of America, but it has half the citizens, which actually says a little bit about America and maybe our overpopulation. However, I also remember hearing once upon a time that you could fit the entirety of the world population in Jacksonville, Florida. And I believe that. Like, you could fit, like, shoulder to shoulder, you can fit the entirety of the world in Jacksonville, Florida. I kind of believe that. I mean, at least in Florida, at least in the state of Florida. But, 144 million, yeah. I mean, they don't have a whole lot of people, but almost all of their people are fucking in the military or something like that. But, look at Russia. So, yeah, Finland, Sweden, Norway, all right next to each other. They're very small. Ukraine is incredibly small. Ukraine is it's really about the size of Northeast America. Kazakhstan, Mongolia, China, those are all right over there. I know very little. Looking at this map, I'm now realizing I know very little about the geography of our planet. That's one of those things where it's like, we probably should have, studied a little harder in school. I mean, there's a reason. Looking at this map now I'm realizing something, and there's probably a specific reason why they don't make the map this particular way. Hold on, let me screen share this. If you have any interest in checking in on this, we're 33 minutes into the live video. Let's see here. Share screen, window, map of the world. Share. Okay. If you're looking at this, you got Russia. Russia's all the way on the right hand of the screen here. And then if you go all the way to the left, there's the United States right there with Alaska. Russia and Alaska are pretty much right next to each other. I think there's a really good reason that Russia didn't invade Alaska instead of the Ukraine. Because Russia could, in theory, invade Alaska. But that would be a very bad idea, because as soon as they did, we would destroy them. Let me get back to my regular screen here. Remove. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I don't the whole fucking let's support the Ukraine thing is just, it doesn't make any sense to me. You're not doing anything. You're not helping anyone. Nothing's being, nothing real is being done there. Anyways, that was my one little rant about Russia and the Ukraine. All right, let me get out of those fucking pages. All these fucking pages. Winston Duke can go too. The other thing that I had to talk about, which again, disclaimer, Roe does not, we don't talk about any of this stuff. Well, we talk about some stuff. I don't think that we ever talked about this one. I saw a commercial the other day, and it goes on. It's all women in the commercial. It's all women talking about, we work just as hard, we work harder, we train harder, we blah, blah, blah. It goes on about all this stuff about women. And then the end of this 45, 60-second commercial is saying, well, so why do women retire with 30% less than men? Which really goes back to the whole, like, 30%, women make 30 cents less than, for every dollar a man makes, a woman makes 70 cents or something like that. I have a real problem with that. Firstly, fucking, how's it my problem? That's not my fault. Secondly, I think that you have to look at certain jobs. Okay, I can look at the post office, and it doesn't matter gender, race, creed, religion, doesn't matter any of that. I can look at the post office, and a person who was hired in April of 2013 and became an official full-time employee in August of 2016, anywhere in this entire country, they make the exact same amount as me, and they're going to retire with the exact same amount as me. It doesn't matter, what anything. Firstly, all right, let's start there. Secondly, I don't believe that there's really such thing anymore these days as that's a man's job, that's a woman's job. Like historically, like back in the fucking 80s, 90s, like you look at a hairdresser, an actual legit hairdresser would probably be like a woman, doing that job. In fact, you go to virtually any like actual hairdressing studio today, and you're probably going to find at least more women, if not all women, working there. Those jobs pay a lot less money, by a lot. All right. If you take another job that you look at that's like, well, that's a man's job. How many women do you see throwing trash on the back of a trash truck? That job, even though it pays well, you don't see a lot of women doing that job. Honestly, before we started watching cooking shows, I would have thought that most women were chefs. But as it turns out, there's a lot of men doing that job. That might be a good example of like, well, why are there more men doing that job? I don't know the answer to that. I have no idea. But I do know that you can't look at something and be like, women you can't just generalize it and be like, women make, retire with 30% less than men, when it has to do with the job that you chose. If you decided to go and be a hairdresser for your entire life, working at, Hair Excitement from the time that you turned 20 to the time that you turned 80, of course you're going to retire with less money. You didn't make much money in the first place. Maybe you had a couple regular customers who tipped you really well, but, for the most part, you were getting, 20% of a $10 haircut. I work, like I said, I work for the post office, and, as long as you get hired, and I've never, in all my years being there, I've seen them so thirsty for help in the last 9 years that I've never seen them be like, well, we're not hiring that person because they're this color or because they are this gender. I've seen everyone come through the post office. I've seen, the lowest dirtbaggy, white guy with his, face tatted up and stuff like that get hired. I've seen all different kinds of women, all types of different genders and races, get hired at the post office. And, as long as you do your fucking job and show up, and I've seen people fired and I've seen people quit. But as long as you show up and do your job, then there's really no, I don't get it. I don't get how you generalize a commercial like that and say, why do women, like, you can't fix something that, unless you did like a base, like a universal base income type of thing, where it's like, okay, from now on, from the time you turn 18, it doesn't matter what job you do anymore. That's really the only way for like equality, which I honestly don't believe is equality. That's still not equality. For me, as a mailman, to make, on day one, walk in and I make $18 an hour, just to throw a number out there, right? I'm 20 years old. I make $18 an hour because that's the base and that's where everyone starts. It doesn't matter what the job is that you're doing. That doesn't make any sense for me to be, what about the guy who is 20 years old, but he's first day on the job at a nuclear power plant where he studied very hard to be there or something like that. I don't know. These are bad examples, I know. But that would be the only way for like equality to be a real thing, is to say, this is what everyone makes. Everyone starts off at, when you're 20 years old, you make $20 an hour. When you're 21, you make $21 an hour. And it doesn't matter what job you do. That would basically, that would have other repercussions of saying things like, Well, the owner of the company, right? I want to start my own company. Let's say you're 20 years old. There's a fucking huge list. There's an enormous list of TikTok stars and Instagram fucking influencers and all this bullshit, that they're 20 years old and they did a thing. Maybe they created an item, or they just create content for people, or whatever it is that they do, that are millionaires. And to take those people and say, well, you know what, I'm sorry, but this is how the world works. You're 20 years old. You get to keep $30,000 of that million, and we're going to tax the rest. And then what? Oh, well, I can only see where that's going. Everyone's going to be like, there's too much taxation here. You're letting me keep 30 grand because that's my age. And, that's the only way to do it. Like, to say every job now pays one salary and that's it. And the only way to make that fair, and then it just creates. It's just like the Ukraine and Russia thing that I just said, just a ripple effect of dominoes, of saying well, now there's certain people again that are just billionaires because either they're keeping the profit, or they're sending it all back into the U.S., which in theory, like, all that taxation should be like, okay, well, great. Now we don't have to pay as much in taxes anymore. Like, our tax returns are huge or something like that. But it would just create all sorts of problems. At the end of the day, that's just life. Certain jobs are always going to be like better paying than other jobs. And I'm sorry, I'm not even sorry. It's not my fucking fault. It's not my fault that I was born how I am, or who I am, or where I am. It's not my fault. It's not my job to apologize for that. That's the way of the world. If you want to make more and retire with more, then get a job that is going to do that. But you can't generalize it and be like, women retire with 30% less than men. You're generalizing that, saying that it's like some sort of thing against women, and it's not. It's got to do it. I think, again, this is what I think. I think it has more to do with the jobs that you do. Again, if you wanted to be, I do think that there's probably a disconnect between women CEOs and men CEOs. Like, it's more likely that a man is going to be a CEO of a company, but there's only so many of those. And even still, like the CEO of, I think it's PepsiCo. Who is the CEO of PepsiCo? Ramon Lagarde. But okay, so Indra something. What's her name? Indra Nooyi is an Indian business former. Okay, I knew there was a woman, former CEO of PepsiCo, and she's an Indian woman, born in 1955, and former chairperson and CEO of PepsiCo. So, I mean, it's not impossible, but it is unlikely. I'll give you that. But still, you can fucking, I don't know. It's unfair to generalize that whole conversation of women make less than men when it has to do with certain jobs. My ex-wife, she wanted to be a fucking hairdresser. She went to school for it for like 10 minutes, and then we got married, and then she was a stay-at-home mom for like 2 years, and then she also worked at a daycare. And then she was a fucking waitress. All right, I just named off 4 jobs that are historically woman jobs that she picked all 4 of them. And then we go to court, and she holds up paperwork saying, "Look, Your Honor, I don't make much money." Well, you're voluntarily underemployed, because you know what? You could go work at a post office. You could go work at fucking Lowe's for $17 an hour right now. You could go work at there's just a dozen jobs that I could name off over and over again. That's like, if you voluntarily want to be underemployed, then that's your fault. That's your problem and your fault. And I'm not here to apologize for it. I'm not going to apologize for it. I watch a commercial that says, women retire with 30% less. Well, what job did you choose? Did you retire with 30% less because you worked for 5 years and then became a stay-at-home mom for the next 25 years, which the math doesn't even work on that because your kid turned 18, and what, you decided to be a stay-at-home mom for another 7 years? Yeah. I guess that's my fucking rant on that. And I probably didn't even scratch the surface on it, but I also still have shit to do. It's almost 5 o'clock on a Monday night. I still have my own stuff to do. I got to go install a new igniter on a grill because my lovely mate bought a new igniter because the igniter on our grill just decided to stop working. I don't know why, but I do know that when we were at Lowe's a couple hours ago, I pulled the new igniter out of the box and I pressed the button, not expecting it to work because I didn't expect it to work straight out of the box and it's not hooked up to anything. But as soon as I pressed the button on it, I got a little shock. So it works just fine. And then yeah, we're gonna have some leftover turkey, and I don't know. I might end up doing another podcast later tonight with Tom. Me and Tom do New England natives, and I know that we had talked about yesterday. We had talked about doing another episode. He wanted to do one last night, but I really just wanted to spend the day just chilling out with my mate, day drinking and turkey cooking and Harry Potter watching. So that's what we did. So yeah, I think that's gonna fucking do it for me. Now that I've gone on that big long rant about the Ukraine, and let me make sure that. Oh, the only other thing that I wanted to talk about was gullible people. That was the only other thing that I wanted to talk about. There's a reason. So I don't trust the CIA, really the government in general, and I think it has less to do with the government and the CIA being untrustworthy, and more to do with some of the shit that I hear just of gullible people. I've watched, at a minimum, 3 documentaries, maybe more than that, in recent history. I don't remember the name of all of them because I've watched so many at this point. But in at least 3 or 4 of these documentaries I've watched has been some guy telling either a girl or a group of girls or a group of people in general. Like one of the ones that I watched last week, I forget the name of it now, but it's a Netflix one. Netflix does the best when it comes to documentaries. Any documentary, it doesn't matter what kind of documentary we're watching. I mean, we watched one yesterday, and it's not really a documentary; it's more of a series, but it's called Ugly Delicious, and that was what we watched for a little bit yesterday. And it's really good. It's a Netflix show with David Chang, who, my lovely mate, go ahead and watch this show. I'm going to go ahead and suggest it. It's got my stamp of approval. My lovely mate says that David Chang reminds her a lot of me. He challenges basically everything. She says that that's me. We're watching it last night, and she was like, "Is this you on the TV right now?" Because he would say like he said he said something. He went to like taco place in Los Angeles, and they give him a taco, but it's not really a taco. In my opinion, it's not really a taco. It's more of a folded over tortilla, heated up, and it's got the salsa, and it's got something inside of it, but it wasn't like hamburger beef, and it probably didn't even have taco seasoning. And he's just kind of like, I don't know about it, whatever. And she said something about the way that he was acting, and I was like, well, he's probably jet lagged. It's in L.A. He's from New York. It's like 10 o'clock at night, but for him, it's like 1 in the morning. And she's like, oh, so you're standing up for him now? And so that's the type of thing. Yeah, that's a great example of just of how she was reminded of me by watching him. But anyways, Netflix crushes it with the documentaries. But they did one that I watched a couple weeks ago or a week ago, where this guy is in like college, and he goes up to another guy and he tells him, "Hey man, I'm not supposed to say anything." Which, all right, for starters, then why are you? Like, that would be my first red flag. That would be the first red flag that I get when someone says, "I'm not supposed to say anything, but I'm in the CIA." That would be my first red flag, to be like, all right, so this guy's full of shit, and I'm not going to fucking believe anything. Not these people. He tells this guy, hey, I'm in the CIA, and the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, this is way back in like the late 90s or something like that, when the IRA was bombing everyone also. But he tells this guy, hey, I'm in the IRA, I'm in MI5 is what this guy says. I'm in MI5 and you're in danger. and I'm not supposed to say anything, but you're in danger, and you and I need to go right now, and we need to get your girlfriend, and we need to get this other girl, and we need to leave. And he takes the two of them, or the three of them rather, he takes these three people, drives them all across Europe, just continually saying, like, we have to get away, you know, IRA is watching us. He puts, like, the fear of God into these people. And these people are 100% convinced that he's being legit, that he's absolutely serious. And then he's also, like, he has them calling their own parents and telling the parents, like, I'm on the run from the IRA. They're trying to kill me. I need you to send me $10,000. And, like, that's the ruse on the whole thing. This one guy pretending to be an MI5 agent, and people fall for it. So my distrust of the CIA, MI5, government in general has less to do with them actually being untrustworthy and more to do with how many people, you know, are out there claiming to be CIA agents or MI5 or some sort of secret agency. Like, I would never buy that shit. If someone ever came up to me and they were like, hey, I'm not supposed to tell you, all right, but I'm in the CIA and we need to run right now, I'm going to be like, how about you fucking go, all right? You need to leave. I don't know where you're from. I don't know who you are. I don't know why your dick is in your hand, but you should leave right now. I don't need this shit, all right? I got enough going on. The other thing was cults. Cults was, I listened to one the other day where this fucking guy, this guy, like, starts a cult, and he starts this cult by telling people that he's actually 1,000 years old. He's actually been alive for 1,000 years, and he can show them how to live for 1,000 years too. And, like, but the only, like, for him to be 1,000 years, or for them to live to be 1,000 years old, they need to allow him to have sex with their 10-year-old daughter. I'm not making this up. This is absolutely true. This is one that I listened to the other day. He needs to have sex with their 10-year-old daughter, and but, you know, don't worry, because it's not actually me having sex with your daughter. There's actually an angel living inside of me, and that angel inside of me needs to have sex with your daughter in order for the angel to continue to live, which is assisting me in continuing to live over the course of the next 1,000 years. And these people buy this shit. How gullible are people? I mean, I don't understand anyone who falls into a cult. I'm sure there's a reason, and, you know, I see some of the aftermath stuff. I see some of, like, you know, the post interviews of these people being like, I don't know what happened. I don't know how it happened. I feel badly for them. I do have some empathy for them about that. But still, when it starts, like, seriously, how did you let that happen? You let some fucking strange 45-year-old man have sex with your kid or your wife, like Waco? David Koresh was having sex with all those guys' wives. All those couples that came in, all those married couples, David Koresh was like, you can't have sex with your wife anymore. Matter of fact, you can't kiss her. You can't even look at her, because I am, you know, the Messiah, and in order for us to bring back God or whatever, you know, only I can have sex with your wife. Absolute insanity. If someone ever said that to me in front of Roe, around Roe, about Roe, that person should brace themselves, because they're about to have their head knocked off. I'm fucking murdering people, all right? There's no way that I'm ever going to fall into some sort of trap like that. Like, are you... I guess I'm more of a financial person. I'm less religious. I guess these people are probably very religious, right? I'm more of a financial person. You'd have to come to me with money, and even if you did that, I'd still be like, you should run. You should start running right now. I have a gun that reaches a mile out, so I think that you should start running and hope that I can't get to it in the next 8 to 10 minutes, however long it takes you to reach a mile, okay? That's the type of shit that's my personality. I don't understand these people that are like, no, it makes sense. You know, he's you know, one of these guys, and of course, David Koresh, that whole Waco thing was back in the mid-'90s when people didn't know much about autism. And Roe disagrees with me on this. I think, anyways, I think that I've mentioned it before. I'm not being rude. I think maybe she disagrees because she thinks I'm being rude, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not being rude at all. I think David Koresh had at least a touch of autism. And I say that because he memorized the Bible. And, you know, I have a friend who's autistic, or has a form of autism, and he knows fucking everything. I consider this man a genius, an absolute genius, because he latches onto a topic of some sort, and he has to know everything about that topic. Once he knows one thing about just learns a tiny little piece of information about a topic, he has to know everything about that topic, and he will just and he retains all of it. So it's not like he goes from one topic to the next. Like this man, I can go to him with virtually anything that I have a question about. If he doesn't know about it and he has a mild interest in it, give him 3 weeks, he'll know everything there is to know about it. So I think that David Koresh memorized the entire Bible because he found a tiny interest in it, and but somehow there was a disconnect in there where he's also an asshole because he somehow comes up with this theory of like, you have to let me have sex with all your wives. I don't know where that is in the Bible. I don't think that it's in there. I was raised Catholic, and I don't believe for 1 second that Jesus, first of all, I don't know. Was Jesus real? I'm not sure. I have my own opinions. I think that Jesus was legit, maybe an alien. I'm not even joking, okay? I'm not even being an asshole about it. I think that he might have been an alien of some sort, all right? If all of the stories are true. If the stories are embellished a little bit, maybe he was just a good person with a moral compass, all right? Because a lot of the shit that you read is really, it's less to do with believing in God and more to do with just having a good moral compass. Don't fuck your wife, don't fuck your neighbor's wife. That's just having a good moral compass, all right? Don't kill people, don't rape. Those are good things to have on your moral compass. Don't steal. All that stuff can really just be broken down into, just being a good person overall, and less to do with if you do this, you're going to burn in hell for the rest of eternity. Oh, have I ranted enough? I don't feel like I have. I feel like I could go on for a little while longer, but I'm not going to. That was a good episode for me. Anyways, I hope it was for you too. Don't forget to check out 4hmclothing.com, strikeforceenergy.com. I don't know who is using that and my adulting code on that website, but I do appreciate you, whoever you are. And adameve.com. Adam Eve is the only one that makes me fucking read something for a full minute. So let's go there and see what they got going on. Oh, they have a spring clearance sale right now. Let's shop their spring clearance sale. Excuse me. They got plenty on their spring clearance. My phone is vibrating. That's my mate. She's heading to the store. Let's see here. We get the Adam and Eve Gem Anal Plug. So I've only recently learned about anal plugs because they didn't make any sense to me before. I was like, who wants to stick this thing up their butt and then just have it sitting there? I guess anal plugs are more of a like preparatory thing. Like you use it to like, and this goes for guys and girls. I don't know what you're into. You use it as more of like a preparatory thing so that things get kind of, loosened up. You don't want to go shoving, a giant, what are those called? A pool noodle into, your wedding ring. You want to kind of, you want to get things, a little loosened up down there first. I guess that's the real purpose of these plugs. That's what they're for. That you get the Adam Eve Gem Anal Plug right now, over 70,000 sold, and it has almost 5 stars. It looks like a little over 4.5 stars out of 163 reviews, and it's going right now for $10. Got the All American Whopper 8-inch dong. I don't know why it has to be All American Whopper and white. It does say available in 2 colors. The other color is okay. The color on the website is like midnight black, but when you scroll over, it does look like just an African American person. So, what else is there on their clearance? The Satisfier 1 Next Gen, over 125,000 sold, 3.5 stars out of 1,300 reviews. The Womanizer Duo. Now I'm curious. You had my attention. You had my interest, now you have my attention. Womanizer Duo, $209 to $210 or $220. $209 to $220. I don't know what the difference is. That it's probably about what color option you choose. Looks like it has a recharging thing that is similar to my watch. Feel ultimate touchless clitoral satisfaction and G-spot magic. Dual stimulating Womanizer Duo puffs away at your G-spot. All new performance upgrades, 10 new vibration functions, and smart silence. Introduce your G-spot to their new best friend, the Womanizer Duo. Its clitoral stimulator focuses patented pleasure air technology on your thrilling love button with pulsing waves of blissful air pressure. Flexible and curvy shaft slides in for expert G-spot play, sending 10 functions of vibration right to your hottest inner spot. 12 levels of adjustable intensity so you can perfectly tailor the pleasure to your body. Rechargeable air pressure, stimulator vibe. Okay, so air pressure, stimulator, and vibrator is what it seems to be. That's why it's called a duo. Smart silence stops the pleasure when it comes into contact with skin. That's interesting. Kind of an edging thing there. Let's see here. Fully rechargeable, includes magnetic USB charge cable. So yeah, it does recharge just like my watch. Approximately 2 hours of playtime on a single charge. Recharges in 2 hours. Includes free silk storage bag, and it's waterproof. So there you go. AdamEve.com. Use offer code adulting. You can get don't tell Jason. Jason, I just explained butt plugs, okay? Jason checking in on the comments throughout the entire show. Appreciate you, buddy. Butt plugs, I just explained how they make sense. I just went through that 4 minutes ago, so. AdamEve.com, 4HMClothing.com, StrikeForceEnergy.com. Use offer code adulting on all of those websites. Help me fucking make $10 a month. And yeah, I guess that's it for me. Have a good day, everyone.